We're going to write the rule for the nth term in an arithmetic sequence or series when we're given two terms. So let's say we're given the 7th term, 17, and we're given the 26th term, 93. What we'd like to do is we'd like to know what's the rule for any term in this sequence. And by the way, it could be a series as well. We're just looking for the rule for the nth term. And I'm going to remind you the rule for the nth term in an arithmetic sequence or series is a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So we're going to use this guy along with these two guys and see what we can do here. So we'll start off with the idea that a sub 7 equals, that's a sub 7, not 9 sub 7, there you go. A sub 7 equals, we don't know what a sub 1 is, plus, since we know the 7 is the n, we'll do 7 minus 1. I'll just write that as 8 if you don't mind. And then we don't know what d is, so I didn't really even need the parentheses, it's just 8d. Then we're going to rewrite, we're going to also write a sub 26. And we know that, let's see, we don't know a sub 1, but we do know that it's going to be 26 minus 1, because the n is 26. So we'll do, that'll be 25d. And then we'll go ahead and, we'll replace the a7 and the a sub 26 with the numbers that we know they actually are. So let's do that. So it'll be it'll be, instead of a sub 7, it'll be 17 equals a sub 1 plus 8d. And then it'll be 93 equals a sub 1 plus 25d. And I'm hoping that this looks familiar to you. This is known as a system of equations. And by the way, that is a 17, comes from right here. And it's a system with two equations and two unknowns, so we can either use substitution or elimination. In this case, it looks like elimination might be easy because I've got two a sub 1s. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and make all of these guys negative. I'm just going to multiply this entire top row through by -1, and that'll make it real easy to just add these two rows together. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm just taking the top row, the top equation, and adding term by term to try to get rid of the a sub 1. So again, by the way, it's legal for me to take this top equation and multiply everything through by -1 because as long as I multiply both sides by the same thing, I still have the same equivalent equation. It may not look the same, but it's exactly equivalent to what it was before, just like 4 quarters are equivalent to $1. They don't look the same, but they have the same value. Okay, so let's add. Okay, so what do we get when we add 17 and -17 and 93? Let's see, 93 minus 17 is positive 76. Always be careful about that. Watch what the sign is. 93 is bigger, 17 is smaller. It's going to be a positive. Negative a1 plus a1, they cancel out. Say goodbye. I notice a lot of people like to make this mark that says cancel. Don't do that. We're not canceling. We're adding this negative plus this positive. I keep an eye on this sign. So that's what I'm going to do with the negative 8d and the 25d, and that'll get us a positive 17d. And then hopefully 76 divided by 17 is a whole number. And of course it's not. Okay, that's okay. Ooh, this kind of clues me into something though. Maybe I made a mistake in the problem. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with getting a decimal or a fraction. They happen all the time in the real world, but I'm going to double check my math just to be safe. It looks to me like up here where I said this was 8, I was supposed to take the n as 7, and I was supposed to go 7 minus 1. Maybe you caught this earlier. That should actually be 7 minus 1, which is 6, not 8. So please, let's make this correction. So that's not a negative 8, that's negative 6. And if we do 25 minus 6, then we don't get 17, we get 19d. Okay, now let's go ahead and try that. So we'll go 76 divided by 19, and maybe that comes out to be a nice even number. And again, it doesn't have to be a nice even number, but it did give me pause and a reason to go back and double check my math. So we get d equals 4. Now that we know that d equals 4, we can go ahead and figure out what a sub 1 is. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me get rid of this. So we'll go ahead and say this. Of the two equations, I kind of like the second equation the best, the one with, or I like the equation, I'm sorry, this first equation the best, where we have the 17 equals a sub 1 plus 6d. So I'm going to write that out. 17 equals a sub 1, and there it is. 17 equals a sub 1 plus 6d. There we go. Plus 6d. Oops. It's not d anymore. We know that it's 4, so I'm going to do times 4. And then this is 24, and we'll subtract it from both sides, so we get a sub 1 equals. So let's see, 17 minus 24, that gets us -7. So finally we can go and rewrite this whole thing out nice and clean. We're writing the rule for the nth term, so it's going to be a sub n. When we're writing the rule for the nth term, a sub n is always a sub n. It's the nth term. And then equals -7 plus n is always n when we're writing the rule for the nth term. A sub n stays a sub n and n stays n. And then times d, which is 4. And then we'll distribute the d and clean this all up. So we get a sub n equals -7 plus 4n minus 4. So a sub n equals 4n minus 11, and that is our rule for our nth term. Yay. And again, if all we wanted to do was find the first term, we could have stopped right here. We could have just found that and said we're done. But we were told to ask to write the rule for the nth term, so we went all the way. This is what happens when we're given two terms. You basically create two equations and solve.